Well, good afternoon. We're now at interview number 3. We've had 2 great interviews so far. We took a break on Mother's Day and now we're back on Monday. And I have a very special guest, Catalina Soto Campos. Welcome, Catalina.
Thank you, Ag, for having me. Such an honor to be here.
Oh, it's an honor for us. It's so much fun. It's great. I think we're going to have a bit of fun today. That's the whole point of these, where we get to ask you questions and you give us answers to things that maybe we haven't asked before. And in all the other interviews you've done, we talk a lot about racing. We talk a lot about the really serious things, but maybe we can chill out a little bit too. Still talk about serious things, but also have a bit of fun too. So you up for that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So first question. You're at Brunswick as a Brunswick member, honorary member, whatever we want to call you. How did it actually start? How did you end up at Brunswick?
So when we arrived to Australia in 2015, February, the first thing my mom and Felipe did was to look up for a club. So a lot of people actually recommended St. Kilda because of the women's, how they support women's riding. But it was actually Nick from SoundCloud that he said, Brunswick is pretty awesome. You should go to the velodrome and just talk to the guy that's wearing pink. And we're like, okay, sure. So we went on a Saturday and I didn't speak any English. When I arrived to Australia, I didn't speak at all. And Cam was there and David was there and Lucia and Greg Hoagie was there as well. And they were doing Madisons and I've never done one before. So they just give me a track bike, put me on the track doing Madisons, and then they were just talking and I just became a member of them. And since then I've had like the greatest support ever.
Well, firstly, St. Kilda's a great club. So if you went to St. Kilda, you would have had a great experience too. But we're so grateful that you've come, that you ended up at our club. What year was this?
That was in 2015. I'm pretty sure.
So we're only just into 2020. So it's only 5 years ago and you didn't know how to ride a Madison. They gave you a track bike. Was that the first time on a track bike? Wouldn't have been the first time.
No, it wasn't the first time. But yeah, it was a long time since I went on the track because in Chile, the track scene kind of stops for a little bit. So yeah, and I've never ridden the track with a girl before, and that was Lucia. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, pretty awesome, all right. And when you first laid eyes on Dave, what was that like? Was it, you found the guy in pink, but did you expect him to be what you saw? Had you seen photos of him before or you just looked for this guy in pink?
No, we just looked for the guy in pink. And then obviously when we arrived, we saw him and with the pink glasses and Felipe goes, I think that should be him for sure. Like no one else is there. And then, you can hear Cam's laughs and everything. And I was super scared. I had no idea what was going on because no English, no idea what we were looking for. And I don't know, I was just unaware of what was going on.
Well, you met the 2 least scariest people really because they're 2 of the friendliest people going around. And you met nice people like Lucia and Hoagie as well. So it was a good day. It was a good day to turn up. And obviously
it was.
And that started something special for all of us. That's fantastic. And and that's why we're here. That's why we're talking. So that's when you get to Australia. So what I think a lot of people don't know enough about is your hometown, exactly where it is in Chile. And we've all heard about how you started in cycling, participation events, etc. And you like going fast and you wanted to be at the front, all that sort of thing. But a little bit more about your hometown. Is it a big place, a small place, medium? And what's your favourite memory of that town?
Yeah, so Santiago, it's the capital of Chile, and I'm from there. And it's pretty big. I think 1/3 of the Chilean population lives there. So it's massive. But yeah, what I love about my town, and I guess the country, is that, we have earthquake, so you're never sure when you're gonna have one. And then there's really nice food around on the streets. Like there's street foods where you can buy fried bread or like Chilean hot dogs, we call them. So yeah, that's what I like the most.
Is there anything close in Australia to good Chilean food? Have you found anything other
Yeah,
than mum's cooking?
yeah. There's a lot of Chilean cafes around it. Well, South American, but there's one that's owned by Chileans, and they have really nice food. It's in Brunswick.
What's it called? Let's give it a plug.
It's called Neruda's Brunswick. Neruda is a poet from Chile.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And that's good. And you're attracted to your country in a very emotional way as well. So you just spoke about, you know, a restaurant named after a poet. I think a lot of Chilean people are quite affectionate to their country, particularly the ones that have left and are living abroad. You often post or put out, statements, little words about the human rights issues and just general the political climate in Chile, etc. You're very passionate about that, aren't you?
Yeah.
And
yeah. Well, in Chile.
No, you go.
Oh, in Chile, there's not much respect to human rights, and a lot of sports organizations they don't support their athletes. And I've come to see that once I moved here, and I started riding more, and then I got to go overseas and meet people from other countries. So yeah, it's been a shock to me to realize all these things, and it's all happened super quick. But I think it gives me the opportunity to change that. If I'm not the greatest cyclist, I can probably make sure that there's a system so in the future there is a super great cyclist from Chile. So yeah, it will be nice. And then I can also go in the pathway of, you know, helping people to have clean water, to have education and food and things like that, which would be awesome. At some point.
I love that that's the way you think, because you can be very insular sometimes when you're an athlete and you can think just about yourself. But the fact that you're thinking about how what you do can help draw attention to things and impact in a positive way is just terrific. And people who know you wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. And I'm hoping that people who don't know you that well can listen in on this and find out that little bit about Catalina that they didn't know, because that's a wonderful attribute. So well done. That's really good. And
thank you.
Just on that, you talked about the next Chilean rider or getting a rider from Chile. You desperately want Chile to be an Olympic team in cycling, and you've talked about 2024. And how real do you think that is? Is that something realistic and something you can work towards?
Yeah, it is super realistic, but you also have to be realistic to yourself as an athlete. So Chile is a small country, and as I said, there's not much support going to their athletes. So every time I go to the World Championships, the work from my mom, from my uncle that's living in Germany, it's huge. And I think it wouldn't, like, if I didn't have them and I only had the system from Chile that supports the athletes from Chile, I don't think I would have made it. I think, yeah. So, yeah, I would love to make a change. So then there's more Chilean riders. There's more, I don't know, there's a big support network for athletes to do and chase their dreams without, you know, because probably there is a great cyclist now out there, but then their mom can help them like the way my mom does.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the Olympics it's very realistic, but yeah, I just gotta work really hard. I know exactly what I need and where to get it. So we're working towards that, and hopefully 2024 will be my year.
I'm very confident, particularly with your attitude. I mean, we know you've got great form and great talent, but we know there's a lot more to it than that. And so let's now talk about your preparations and your plans. You're part of
Mhm.
the WCC. Now, this is something that has been covered before, but I think very interesting for this interview. If you can take us through exactly what WCC is and what does a typical day look like for you and your fellow athletes there?
So the World Cycling Center helps small countries to kind of develop athletes around the world. So I have teammates from Africa, from Europe, from South America as well. And everyone comes to get a lot of experience and to have, the world's best coaches, the world's best facilities to train. And it's pretty awesome a day out there. I love it. I really love it. There's mountains. So every time you get out of the team house, you ride your city bike to the velodrome. And in the velodrome, you have the kitchen, the gym, coach's room, the physio, the nutrition, the mechanics, your bike. You have everything in there. So you go have breakfast at the velodrome, then you go change, check your bike before going for a ride. If there's a problem, go to the mechanics, which is just there around the corner, like 100 meters. You can go for a ride around the valley, which is awesome. You go up the hills, you can do flat riding, you can go around the lake, you can ride to 3 countries in one day. So it's pretty awesome. And then, you come back, you have lunch, and depending on everyone's training, you might have lunch alone, or you might have lunch with, the road boys or the track people, BMXers or the mountain bikes, and you talk about your training, which is, I love listening to what they do and things like that. I'm super interested. And then if you don't have gym in the afternoon or like a core session, you will go back to the team house, and depending what time of the year it is, there might be a race, the Tour de France. You might as well sit and eat something while you watch the Tour de France or Tour de l'Avenir, or when the under 23 boys go for racing, you go and watch them live. And then dinner, sleep, repeat every day. You do the same,
It's not
which
bad.
I love. And then you can go out for racings. Well, now that for the women is a continental team, we go a lot for races and we have meetings. I study the races. I started studying the races, and it's been, I love it. I think it has taught me so much, and I try to do everything that I do there back here at home. So, and it's been working for me really well. So it was a great opportunity.
So when you say you study and you take that back home, are you even the sort of person that would study the route that you're going to take on a particular day for training? Or, what do you exactly mean by you take it with you here? Because most of us just get dressed, go for a ride. We think we've got to hit a few, tick a few boxes, and we come home.
I love graphs and data from my rides. So I'm always, my laptop on the apps, just looking what I did, if I had a similar training session, what I've done in Switzerland. It's pretty hard though, because usually when we do efforts, we do them up the hills, and here it's on the flat. So it's a little bit of a difference, but I am improving a lot in here at home. So that's it. But then, I try to keep my routines pretty similar. So breakfast at the same time, and what I have for breakfast is similar as well. I don't change much. So,
is there a certain time that you stay at WCC? Is it 1, 2, 3 years? Is it, do you have to earn the right to stay longer? How does that process work?
So it depends which, program you're in. So if you are in the BMX program, you'll be the whole year. But because we're road, we only go for the season. And then, so we'll go, from February until October. And we'll stay there until, we race over the season, and then we might come home when we can. But obviously, because I live in Australia, it's super hard to come back. But a lot of people go back home in the middle of the season. So like after April, May, June. And yeah, then if you're a track rider, you may stay for a bit longer for the World Cup season. So yeah, it depends what you're doing, what your goals are, and things like that. And you talk all that with the coaches over there.
So even though you're a silver medalist in the scratch race worlds on the track, you're in the road program, correct?
Yeah, I'm in the road now.
Yeah. But do you ever remind them that you're actually not that bad on the track too? So maybe you can say for that one as well.
Yeah, I actually, every time there's like a club race in Eagle, the track, they always ask me if I want to race. So, and then my road coach always encouraged me, like, oh, just go and race. Like, then you can have an easy road ride in the afternoon. I was like, okay. So I race on the track every time I can, which is pretty awesome. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
And
you get the best of both
worlds. We get
worlds.
to race super nice bikes. So
beautiful.
So, yeah.
You just walk along and just choose which bike you want.
No, it's not like that. But the mechanics are very friendly, and yeah, they like put me the race wheels and change my gear, and it's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool. That's just like any junior cyclist now with their parents. That's what we all do. We're all mechanics for our kids.
Mechanics, yeah.
So it sounds like a great program and a really good setup. And the idea is magnificent for people from countries who don't have the greatest infrastructure, put them in one place. And the learnings must be incredible. And just hearing you talk about it, you can tell that there's a lot of information that you process, and I'm obviously very grateful for receiving. But a year or two ago, I'm not sure when this was, but you're also joined by some fellow Chileans, a mountain biker and a BMXer. That must have been very exciting too.
Yeah, that was really nice. I was closer to the BMX rider because he lived nearby where I live back in Chile. So yeah, it was awesome to have Chilean people around and joke around, because Chile has I guess all countries have their own particular humor, but we use a lot of a cultural background in our jokes. So when I go out to tell jokes, it's always something related to Chile. And when I say it to someone that, I don't know, it's Colombian, they're like, what are you saying? I'm like, oh, don't worry. So it's pretty awesome to have Chilean people around.
And so having Chilean people and plus having them from different disciplines, that must have been great learning too, because BMX, lots of power in that sport, and mountain bike, incredible the endurance that you need and just the skill. So the mix of those disciplines must be quite empowering.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great advantage of being at the center as well, because there's so many people from different disciplines, and then there's training camps. So you meet people that, I don't know, do cyclocross or the BMX that with the tricks. I forgot the name, but yeah, you get to meet really, really awesome people, and you get to appreciate the sport a little bit more. So yeah, I think I am super lucky to be there.
Hey, and you're humble about it too, which is the most important thing. So what's the longest ride you've done, whether it's there or whether it's here or in Chile? Or what's the longest ride?
I actually, when you asked me the question, I started thinking, and my longest ride is 160 kilometers. It was in January this year, but it didn't feel like the longest ride. What felt like the longest ride was one time in Chile. We went from the city to the beach, and it was only, I just checked, it was only 120 Ks. But for me, I think I was 13 probably. It felt so long. I was on my road bike, and we were a couple of friends, and we gave our backpacks to one of the parents, but then a lot of friends forgot to give them to them. So some of them had backpacks, and then you had to climb out of the city, the huge mountains. So they were climbing with backpacks, the huge mountains with the sun, and it was pretty awesome. And then we stayed 3 days there, and then we came back. But that felt like the longest ride ever.
But your you're really lucky that you come from a country that has the Andes as a mountain range, and
Yeah.
then you train in Eagle where you've got mountains as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that actually kind of connects a little bit because the mountains from Chile and the mountains from Switzerland, they're a bit similar. So I don't know, I just look at them and I feel like at home. So it's super nice.
Yeah, and then you come back to Melbourne and Mount Pleasant.
Mount Pleasant. I've been discovering all that side. I've never been there before until this year, and it's awesome.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I want to go to King Lake and do some riding around, but I don't know the roads really well. I don't know the roads really well, so the other day I went on a gravel road and had 2 punctures, and I was stuck in the middle of it. Had to call mom, but yeah, I'm super excited to go for some more adventures out there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place to ride, and every state's got some great places.
Yeah.
The Giro della Donna is all about going through the back way up Donna Buang and gravel.
Yeah.
And lots of people are discovering gravel now during this time. It's a really nice positive that's come out of us all being locked away and isolated. You just go on these beautiful rides and just discover. And it's good.
Yeah,
Not having a plan is actually good.
Yeah, I want to convince mom to buy a gravel bike, but I don't know. There's a lot of bikes now here.
Well, just talking about mum, it gives me a great opportunity now to actually bring a slide up. So this is mum. This is Evelyn.
This is mom.
Racing. Now, how did this come about? Is it all because of you, or how?
Oh, my mom did race back home. So she raced a lot of alley cats, which if you're not part of like the fixie community, alley cats are like riding through the city or whatever you are to different checkpoints. And then whoever goes to the checkpoints first and then you get back to the starting place, you win. So my mom used to do a lot of that, and she was really good. She would win and beat the boys. So I never knew this. She's always no one knows that, but I always try to tell it because it's pretty cool. And then as I started knowing more about cycling, I started knowing that sometimes the best women out there, the Olympic medalists, they're mothers already. So I always try to share with my mom the stories of, I don't know, Christine Armstrong, how she won the gold medal with their kids. So yeah, I think she likes the sport. Obviously, she likes racing, and she's competitive as she raced alley cats before. So yeah, you'll be super excited to, like, I don't know, make her super fit, and then maybe we'll be racing together. I don't know. That's one of my big dreams.
Yeah, that's great. That's definitely a reality. I've seen her race in some of the crits, and she has a lot of fun, and she really puts in.
Yeah, she enjoys it.
You can tell she's put in because she's got a really red face at the end.
Yeah, red face.
Looks like she's had it. Yeah. But that's terrific. And alley cats are a special breed. The alley cat.
Especially
racing.
in Santiago, like that city is just crazy. There's no bike path, so I don't know how she's awesome.
Yeah, well, Derek Holland, Australian fixie champion, also Brunswick member, organises alley cat races.
I've done a few here in Melbourne, and they're pretty fun. I remember I bought a bike for $10 one night. So they're good fun.
So while we're on mum, obviously you have a little sister, Augustina, and mum's 2 weeks away from another baby.
Another baby, I know. I'm gonna be a big sister again. I'm excited.
Yeah, so you should be. So did you look after her yesterday? What did you do for Mother's Day?
Myself, my cousin Felipe, and Agustina, we made her a huge breakfast. She couldn't finish it. And we spent the morning in her bed, all just talking and eating food. Then I went for a ride. And when I came back, we went to Williamstown for a little walk. Then the rain came, so we went to buy Lebanese food, and we had really nice food for dinner, and that was
That's
good.
good.
It was really nice.
And maybe things work out for a certain reason. You wouldn't have been here for Mother's Day, and you wouldn't
No,
have
not
been
for
here for the
Mother's
birth of your.
Days,
Yeah.
the birth of the baby,
Yeah.
birthdays, nothing. I would have missed it all.
Yeah. So we've got
Yeah.
to take positives, don't we? Even though we discussed before we went on air that obviously you would rather be where you wanted to be, which was
Yeah.
you know racing, and you had a little taste of it with the onlook and Les Amin, and you got to ride in cobbles, and then it must be frustrating that was it just kind of came and went like that. But there's some positives too, aren't there? I mean, the fact that you can.
Yeah, there is big positives. Like being home is really, really nice. It's always nice, actually. Like I think every time I go back to Europe, I'm like, oh, for how long would I go back now? And what do I want to do? And things like that. So yeah, it was really unexpected to come back. It's been really tough, but being home and seeing my mom and the process and my little sister getting excited, it's really nice. It like you don't see that every day.
No,
so yeah.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And as Augustina grows up too, like that'll be a great memory for her as well. Even though she might not remember all of it, but photos and just the videos that you take, etc. It's a special time. So that's great.
Yes.
So we can't wait. We can't wait for another baby. We love watching the videos and the photos of Augustina as she's growing up. So this will be exactly the same. It's great.
Yeah, it will be.
We love your family a lot at the club, as you know. The taste of racing, as that I alluded to before. Obviously, we spoke to Sarah on Saturday, and she spoke about the thrill of riding with you again, and even gathering photos just for these sorts of presentations. I could have brought up 10 of you and Sarah and Lucia and Ali Nussbaum, who's currently in the Netherlands, who we'll interview soon as well. All those times when you're riding together, Sarah said it was almost unbelievable to think that you were actually in this race together. You feel the same way? What were your feelings?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, every time I race with Sarah, I remember the Victorian state champs. I forgot where they were, but we came second and third to Gemma. And there's a picture of a downhill where Sarah is like taking the corner with her mouth open, and I'm trying to keep up behind. And we're trying to catch Gemma. And every time, like, I just hope at one point we get to recreate that picture. I don't know when it will be. It can be like at any race, it will be the breakaway or Worlds, whatever, but it will be pretty nice. And hopefully, we get first and second and not third and fourth.
Yeah, it'd make an amazing story. I just we know that you're Chilean and you're passionate about Chile. We love the fact that you've got a connection to Australia. There's a photo I want to bring up, which I love because it could possibly be the only time we see you on a podium in an Australian championship. This was the National Fixie Championships, and we've got Ali on the podium as well. So what was that like? Is it a little bit weird that you're on the podium winning an Australian title, but you're Chilean, even though obviously when you spend enough time in another country and you get so close to it, you must have affection for it. But it was a unique experience, that one, because obviously with Fixie you could get away with it not being too strict.
Yeah, it was a bit weird, especially because they did allow me to race nationals on the Fixie bike, which I don't see really the difference between a bike with no brakes and one with one.
There isn't.
But I don't know. I really enjoyed the race, and especially the way we supported the event. Like that year, I think only the three of us raced, and this year, if I'm not wrong, there were a lot of girls racing and a lot of more people on their Fixie bikes. So yeah, I think more than the actual feeling of winning the medal, it was like, oh, awesome, I'm supporting these. And there's a big community, like the fixies it's a big community and it's strong as well. So yeah, seeing it at nationals and actually winning the first race there was at a national level, it is an honor.
Oh, you're
It's
part of
super nice.
history. Yep, that's a photo that will linger forever. That is part of history. And you're right. As the scene grows, you can take pride in that you played your part in helping it grow. We were just talking about alley cats before with the fixie crits at St Kilda, the plans we've got as a club and some other clubs on racing fixies more permanently, fixie crits. We even like motor pace crits with on normal bikes. So the whole concept, what you learn from that scene that you can incorporate into cycling, I don't really care, and many of us don't, about whether it's been done before. It's about what the sport looks like in the future. And, people like you who get to experience all these different types of riding, bring back, new experiences and hopefully impact some of us old people who may not want to change as quickly. That's a really important thing for me. I want to bring up another photo because we interviewed Luke on Sunday. Now I'm going to have to move here. So there's a photo here. Ali's been pushed by Phil Foster, what clearly looks like a very good push. But Simon Platt seems to be struggling a little bit in this one. He looks pretty set, but clearly Phil's got the technique better. What's your feedback to Simon on that push?
Simon is a great pusher and he's really good at tactics. So I'm pretty sure for that race, the plan was I was going to throw Ellie, so I was going to lead her out. It was something like that. So every time I'm with Simon, we get a little bit, not distracted, I guess, but we start talking about tactics and he's like, you start from the gun, you push, I'll push you, you go full gas. And I'm like, yeah. And yeah, we were still talking when the whistle went on and we're like, oh, it's time to go. But yeah, he gives a big push, especially like every time he pushes me, I don't have to pedal probably 1/3 of the Bendigo track. I think that's Bendigo.
Yeah, that's Bendigo. That is a good push. So look, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because it doesn't look like the most graceful of stances, but I'm not surprised that the two of you would have been caught chatting and the gun would have gone off and you would have gone, oh, no, that's something we have to actually concentrate on. Yeah, let's quickly race again. How did you go in that race, by the way?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know. Hey.
Now, this one here. So I'll put myself in this one because I keep hearing about Cam's great trips to Casterton and the Wall Smith, and I've not been on one. So I just thought I'd put myself in this picture here just so that I could feel part of it. But just in behind me on my on my right and the left of the screen is you, and you look pretty excited. And let's also look at Cam. Cam looks like he's Cam. And you got Boffy over there.
He looks worried in the picture.
Yeah, I think he's worried about, in one of his famous sayings, what could go wrong. That could be what could go wrong. Just your memory of that trip and just those times with the group that everyone talks about. My own daughter couldn't wait to go this year because it was her turn because it's at the right age. She's very disappointed she couldn't go this year. So everyone's looking forward to next year.
Yeah, well, I think it will be a bit of a different perspective from mine, I guess, because in Chile and there's not many training camps or talent ID camps because there's no many riders. So it's really, I never find myself, in a bus full of riders going to a race, and it was like a complete new experience for me. I think that was even like before I went to Switzerland for the first time. So yeah, for me being on that bus, I was like, oh yes, we're gonna have a great weekend, a lot of racing, and it was like great food, great weekend. Where we stayed, I forgot the name again, but the family and everyone that received us there, it was just so amazing, and the racing was serious but fun. It was like just go have fun on your bike, but be strong. And I don't know, it was just really fun. I think I did one of the races, and then I had to speak in front of everyone, and I'm like, oh. But yeah, I think when we went, it was really fun, and we would play cards at night, have dinner at the pub. It was awesome.
Well, don't be surprised if Cam puts a video up after this of you speaking, because he did the same thing with Luke after his interview.
Oh.
He put up a shot of Luke.
Yeah, he actually he wrote like ideas of what I should say, and I got on stage and I got so nervous and like had like my broken English with like all my ideas in my head. I'm like, thank you to the commissaires. I got all shaky. But yeah, it was awesome. You learn so much. Yeah.
And Cam brings that to the table, doesn't he? His advice. I even gave you some advice the other day for another interview you had.
Oh yeah, he told me to put the bike.
Yep.
And wear the team uniform. But yeah, funny story. I thought that when they told me, you have to go back home tomorrow, they gave me the tickets. I was like, oh, so I had to pack everything, and I really thought that I was gonna get back to Switzerland in a month. And I left everything there. So all I have from the team, it's all the kit, only kit, and this jacket and the bike, obviously. So everything I own, it's back there.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody knew how long anything would last. It was, you got to make a quick decision. You got to get out before the airports close, borders close, etc.
Yeah.
And then everybody would have hoped that you'd get back as quickly as possible. It hasn't turned out that way, but it looks like things are starting to ease up a little bit, and you'll be back there. And lock this away as a great experience. That's how you got to do it. I think someone positive like you will do that. Did the hair color change while you were here? Is this something that you've done?
Oh yeah. So I fixed my hair, and now it's purple and pink. It's my new favorite colors. I've been on them for a while.
Well, we're big fans of purple and pink at Brunswick. Dave will take that as a compliment and think it's in honour of him. So make sure you just tell him that. He needs the confidence.
Yeah, pink power.
Yeah. We're going to wrap up soon. Just a question. If you could be in one place right now, riding a bike, where would it be?
Switzerland. Yeah.
It's always going to have a place in your heart, yeah? So I'd love to ask you that question in 5 years' time when you've got to ride all around Europe. And I think affectionately you'll probably give the same answer, but there must be some other places that by then you will have ridden that you would also fall in love with. You're very fortunate, but also worked very hard. There's a saying, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And that's exactly what you've done. You've come from very humble beginnings. There's no question about that. The road you've taken to get to where you are so far has not been a traditional one, and you're taking advantage of some very forward thinking by organisers and sports administrators to set up WCC, and hopefully you're also lucky that you turned up at Brunswick, and we'd like to think that your experience in Australia and Brunswick has helped make you a better bike rider too. Do you think that's happened?
Yeah, for sure. I've learned so much, so many skills on the bike from Brunswick that, I think, so much.
And I think Cycling Australia and the teams you've been in as well have been really supportive of you too, which is, I'm very proud of that as an Australian.
I think everything that's taken place here has taught me something so important that I will always take. So being in Holding On or Gusto Step Forward, powered by Suzuki, the big name. Racing NRS was an amazing experience. Racing with a team, having a team bike, taking care of the stuff. It will always teach you something. Whatever it is that you're doing, it will teach you something if you're looking to learn.
You are one of the best commentators we've ever had at a track championship at Brunswick as well. You've got a few famous sayings like a new
A New
Uh,
Brunswick record.
New Brunswick record. Yep. Doesn't matter how fast or slow
It was a
that
great
lap was.
championship, that one. Yeah,
It
everyone
was.
was flying.
Yeah, everyone was flying. Everyone was breaking records. It was incredible.
Records, yeah, every race after race. I was surprised.
I suppose for those people who don't know what we're talking about, they just have to be there 1 year to find out, don't they? It's a great
Yeah.
experience. Catalina, thank you. If you can just leave us with one small commitment. We have these Zwift rides that we do as a club. Sarah said that she gave a little pinky finger promise that she'll try and make one. Before you go, even if you've already gone, and we'll still keep the rides going even when we're back on the road, can you promise us that you'll try and get on one of the rides with us? Because it will just make everybody so excited.
Yeah, of course. Well, I did my first ever Zwift ride. And actually, long time ago, I always say to myself, I'll never get on Zwift. But here I am. I tried it the other day. And yeah, it's nice, but I have no idea how to use it. I just set it up. I started riding, and the figure just moves and shows us the path. And I was like, okay, that's it. So yeah.
Well, our rides are great because they're called. Yeah, well, ours are called meetups, and they're no drop rides, which is perfect because at least somebody can say, "I rode with Catalina and she didn't drop me." Right. So that's why people love it, because everyone stays together, and I mean, there's also racing and whatever, but as a club ride, everybody loves it, and it's not just people from our club. We get people from.
Yeah, I think I'll do a club ride before any race on Zwift.
You're on.
It's all new to me.
Yeah, well, for a lot of us, 5 weeks ago, it was something we did every now and then, and now it's almost a daily habit. Some people do it twice a day. It's quite a revolution, actually. But there is nothing like riding on the road. Yesterday, I went out on the road with my daughter, and it's just a beautiful experience. I hadn't forgotten what it was like, but it just reminds you of how beautiful it is. So I can only imagine what it's like for you in the beautiful surroundings you've got in Switzerland and the surroundings you've grown up in Chile. It's beautiful scenery, great to ride it, and all the pain you've got climbing up the hills. When you get there, it's worth it. Yeah, that's what we all say to ourselves. Yeah.
Well, here Victoria is beautiful as well.
Yeah,
don't take it for granted. It is nice.
Yeah,
but as I know now, you gotta know where to go. So I'm still learning where to go.
I suppose that applies anywhere, but it's the romantic side of us that likes to think of and dream of other places, and we often take for granted what we've got in our own backyard. It's the same as when I lived in Sydney, and you'd ride to Acuna Bay and Bobbin Head, and these places are just absolutely beautiful, and you don't realise what you've got until you lose it, and you can't do it as often. So, hey, I really appreciate your time. I'm sure that people will love hearing from you, and there's no point saying stay in touch, because you are in touch. And you've done the right thing. You're off social media for a while, which is good.
Yep.
Just fill your mind up with good things and keep looking at your data. That's the most important thing you need to look at right now. But also keep that smile on your face. And in a couple of weeks' time, you're going to have a new addition to the family. We love new bikes and all that sort of thing, but there's nothing like a new life. And
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Regards to your family and everyone, and we'll see you soon. So thanks, Catalina.
Yeah, thank you, Ag, for your time. Thank you.
You're welcome. See you soon.